we're now in China. We see, well, Asia. We see Superman and a bonfire with strange human-like silhouettes. It could be wood, but maybe not. We
Right.
see what are the Vietnamese, because the hats
Oh,
doesn't.
I love this scene. I really, really love this scene. Yeah. And I think it shows you that Superman has no jurisdiction.
Yeah,
That's number one. And also he tries to be as useful as he possibly can if he encounters danger wherever he is.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this argument on the whole Superman has a jurisdiction. I've never understood that whole argument. But anyway, um, a pissed Clark, a red-eyed, pissed off Clark, um, enters to see Wonder Woman. It turns out those people were one Wonder Woman freed were women from the destroyed village in order for them to take revenge.
Mm.
So they all took revenge. It looks like I'm getting my favorite kind. Okay, this wasn't before I forgot. I knew I'd already seen this movie. I got
Okay.
excited because I was like, we're getting my favorite kind of Wonder Woman. Because I think we've discussed Wonder Woman before. I
Yeah.
have,
Can we just touch on that? Why are you saying this? Because I do know that this scene actually fleshes her out a lot more. But yeah, should we get into it quickly? So basically, Superman goes in, finds this Vietnamese woman, um, says, as he lands, these women obviously they charge Superman as if they wanna, fight him, and then obviously he's like, Diana, please tell this woman that they're gonna be wasting their bullets. So Diana's like, do not be marveled, do not marvel that they're doing this. These women were captured, tortured, um, whatever. And Super Clark is like, so did they kill them? Because I think he saw some corpses outside before he went in.
fire. There's corpses in the bonfire that would. They're like a hand. Yeah.
Right. So it's asking Diana why, what's going on, and Diana just explains that look, these people, like I said, they were tortured, this and that and the third, and they basically wanted revenge. And
Oh yeah,
so
all the people were killed. They were about to be sold off. They're going to be used as sex slaves,
yes.
and then you just let them go, disarm the men, put the guns over there, and then kind of just took a step
Yeah, that's what she did. She didn't. So basically, she allowed them to make the decision.
and that's what pisses Clark off. He's like, so you just let it happen. Yeah,
Yes.
pissed off about that. Yes.
But also, oh man, you see, this is what I love about personalities, or rather character backgrounds. You need to understand that Wonder Woman, having been raised in Themyscira with a group of women empowerment, strong women, that's what she's used to. She's used to women fighting for themselves, you know, and celebrating their victories, their wins, right? Clark is raised in a patriarchal society, and not just because of patriarchy, but he doesn't like bloodshed, people dying for no reason. He believes in honor, truth, justice. He believes that maybe, the courts should handle this if needs be. But the in
Yes.
Vietnam,
Yes.
pardon?
Yes. Yeah. I'm saying, yeah, you're right. He believes in the courts, but what courts? They're in
What courts?
Vietnam.
We're in Vietnam, chief. You know, you know what I'm saying? These people were gonna be used as sex slaves. So Diana doesn't see anything wrong with this.
And not only that, but to be fair, okay, we discuss that they basically this is an exposition scene, right?
Right.
Man, we find out number one, Batman is a fugitive. Number two, there's a group called the Justice Society, and they've been disbanded, retired. Number three, the government is afraid of them. Some guy named Our Man is dead. We don't know who that is. But yeah,
Our Man, yes. So Our Man is basically, they don't show him in this one. They show him in World War II. What was it called again? Justice Society World War II, something, something, where the Flash goes back in time. He thinks he goes back in time, but he actually goes to a parallel universe. Maybe we'll talk about it one day. But basically, Iron Man, or Our Man, is a hero, I think, from the Golden Age, who would drink a potion that would give him enormous power for an hour.
oh,
Yeah,
okay, that's interesting.
yeah, he was part of the Justice Society of America.
Yeah, but the point is the tension between the two. is
Right.
that one is kind of sick of the bullshit. Because she's been forced to sign some honor thing, a loyalty thing,
Right.
and clearly the people still don't trust her, and she's done with it. And like you said, there's a culture shock of her living in a matriarchal society where there are no men,
Right.
going to a patriarchal society where men fill up the leadership positions. So the idea of them not being able to strike back doesn't make sense to her. It's a
Right.
culture. So
Right.
now act out. And if you're a comic book fan, here's what I both like and don't like. If
Yeah.
you're a comic book fan, you immediately understood this. That's why
Right. Right.
you know what I mean?
You understood the context behind that conversation, why she's saying what she's saying, the rationale behind it. Yes. Yes.
Don't understand Wonder Woman. That's just a scene of exposition. And it does get justified later on as the lowest lane conversation. But I think as a non-fan, you'd be kind of confused as to what's going on.
Mm, mm.
I discovered this later on while watching. We don't see Wonder Woman for like an hour, or
Yeah.
at least an hour to 40 minutes. I was shocked.
True. That's true.
Evil Wonder Woman is my Wonder Woman because in Injustice and in Crisis on Two Earths, evil Wonder Woman is fantastic, but we don't get that. She's gone from the storyline after this.
Right.
Uh,
Would you consider that moment to be Wonder Woman being evil?
Think like this, because I think My Hero Academia kind of discusses this. If you abandon the rules, aren't you evil? Do you know what I mean? If you abandon the rules and make society work, how are you good?
Okay, you're abandoning Earth rules, basically.
Oh, yeah, but she's a part of Earth. It's a part
Right.
of his. So the question is, I think if you abandon society's rules, in other words, become the definition of antisocial, that is a pretty dark act. But it's also a fantastic act as a viewer, because now you get to see what she really feels. If you know what I mean?
Right.
You know, bad, most fun kind of concept.
Right. Right.
As opposed to the restrained normal Wonder Woman that we normally see to get.
I guess this is quite an interesting conversation because we will just close it off now. But it's like the impression that I got when I watched this specific scene is Wonder Woman has been hearing stories from women who've been abused and raped for years.
Yeah.
Who've been helpless for years. So when she sees moments where women actually taking their power and getting their revenge, for her it's a win.
Of course.
It's a voice to the voiceless. She's a voice to the voiceless. And for someone like Clark, who hardly hears such stories, it's he cannot comprehend the gravity of that situation.
Such a good boy that for him, even if he could, he probably still wouldn't change anything. I mean, look at Injustice. What's the first thing Wonder Woman does when Clark is like, "Screw it, we're taking over"? She immediately flies to the Middle East. I don't know if you read the Injustice comic.
I didn't read the comic. I watched the animated film.
Oh yeah, she immediately flies to the Middle East and he went and goes full Iron Man. Remember Iron Man, the first Iron Man?
Yeah. Yeah.
And basically, it's a similar scene to this one, actually, if you think about it.
Right.
She's like, take back your power. Here are some weapons. Let's do this, ladies. That's immediately what she does. So yes, there is this. See, this is a side of Wonder Woman. This is why I like bad guy Wonder Woman. Because if you think about good guy Wonder Woman, where does this come up? This never shows.
Yeah, the good guy Wonder Woman is someone who's actually rebelling against everything that she was taught in the mascara.
She's almost like a wish version of Cop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because she's trying to be on the right side of things. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's a good person. One of the good ones. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't work, in my opinion. Now, to be fair, I've not read enough Wonder Woman comics. I'm talking
Right.
about visual media. I'm talking
Right.
about movies and TV shows.
Right.
This kind of Wonder Woman is the best kind of Wonder Woman.
I agree with you. I agree. I agree with you completely.
Yeah. Yeah. What's it? Class is trying to hold everyone's trust and Wonder Woman's frustration. She blows him off. Right? Tells him to piss off. But you can see there's regret in her eyes. Because again, this is actually more. Again, this is not full bad Wonder Woman. This is her letting loose her repressed feelings, and then she kind of pulls back and regrets it, kind of. Because you see the word in that last split second before the scene comes. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
So, and I think this gets better elaborated upon in the Lois scene, where Clark tries to justify what Wonder Woman did to Lois.
So, would you say that she regrets then helping out, or she's just disappointed? She's just feeling guilty because of how Clark reacted.
Let me put it like this. I think if someone says don't go here, and you go there, and you have the time of your life, nothing bad happens. But you come back, the guy finds out that you went there and you weren't supposed to.
Yeah, and they say they're disappointed in you.
Yes. And she knows what she did, broke the rules that she signed. Remember, they said it in the early dialogue. I signed a loyalty pact.
Right.
Doing the Clark version of the right thing. It's
Right.
not the version of the right thing.
Right.
Accommodated to them.
Right.
But then she breaks free for a moment. And now that's regret. That's something wrong in her eyes. It's that she knows she did something wrong in everyone else's eyes.
Right.
Trying to assimilate to.
Right.
In my opinion, that's what that split second is. But I feel like if you're not a comic book fan, you didn't catch that moment.
And I think that's that, going back to the conversation we were having earlier on for like 45 minutes about comic books, is there's so much that people can learn from comic books before they actually watch. I know some people just cannot read comic books, they struggle. Some people don't like watching animated movies or series, they struggle. But it's movies like this that actually show you the depth of these characters and why they're so important in popular culture. Wonder Woman is not just famous because she's wearing American themed clothing and she looks badass and she can fight. There's a lot of depth in her character and what she stands for.
Flawed, but this is why I hate her.
This is why you?
This is why I hate her, because she doesn't get explored. Like what
Right.
More writing than any flippin' Wonder Woman storyline ever. Zack Snyder, which I love, doesn't do that. The Justice League, the whole thing, never does that. The Wonder Woman movies, I think there's like 3 of them. None of them.
It's 2. I think had Snyder been given an opportunity to write a Wonder Woman film or to do a Wonder Woman film, he might have explored it.
Yes.
Might have explored it. Because the Wonder Woman that we get from Batman v Superman and the Wonder Woman we get in 1984, they're 2 different Wonder Woman.
Oh, don't even get me started on this one. 84. What a waste of my time.
Yeah, look, you see, it proves our point. When you try to turn Wonder Woman into Superman, you get 1984.
Yeah.
That's basically what happens.
I mean, she could have had a real societal issue and been accumulated over time. But she's supposed to be Wonder Woman, the people's champion. They didn't do that. They didn't do that. Even though I'm not a fan of the Battle of the Sexes, personally,
Right.
things you can do, but you can get away with that.
Yes. Like for instance, the storyline about Vietnam.
Yes.
It is a battle of the sexes thing, but is done in such a tasteful way that it does not discriminate against anybody. It's it's commentary about what actually happens in the world
Oh yeah,
and how if women were given an opportunity to fight for themselves, um,
okay, that would be interesting.
their celebration, them celebrating that victory when they were helpless for the most part, is something that we rarely see in real life and in fiction. Yeah.
Can you imagine a movie that carried on? Like she came back, and maybe half of those ladies had actually gone to attack another village with all those weapons.
And did the same thing to guys.
Yeah, what
That
if
would have been interesting.
come back and be like, "Whoa,
Oh,
guys!"
what happened?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
power, because that happens when you're new to power. Good example being Cuba. Um, when what's his face? People always think of his name,
Fidel?
Fidel Castro, right? But
Mm.
also not Fidel Castro, but Che Guevara.
Che Guevara, yeah.
When they took over, right after the dive, after the American puppet, as people always said, um, we had the Truth and Reconciliation Council, right?
Yes, we did.
Murder trials and thousands of executions. They had the exact opposite of us, and yeah, you can see the difference. Some people say going there is like going into a time machine, like they're going back in time because of how isolated people, how self-isolated, how tough things are there.
Mm.
So, how interesting would can you imagine? Can you imagine a movie that talks about those two different things from a Wonder Woman perspective?
Yeah, I think it would have been hard to write it,
Yeah, that is true. That will take a lot.
um, but it would have been extremely challenging for the writer to actually do Wonder Woman justice. No pun intended, but I'm talking about the character of Wonder Woman. I think you need to challenge yourself in your writing where the character challenges you, whether you'll be able to actually do a really good job for Wonder Woman as a character to put her in that position and find a solution that does not seem like a cop out
Or pandering, yes.
or pandering, yes, but more like a
Yeah.
not a preachy thing, but more like a, you know what? I might not agree with what Wonder Woman did, but I do understand why she did it like that.
Yes. This is actually what you just said is very clever. Because I think a lot of writers, what they try and do is they try to challenge other people as opposed to challenging themselves.
Mm.
So you're like, okay, XYZ is written. But now how do I get to the next step? And you have to now put in now you've set yourself an impossible task in getting this to work. And now you trying to fill that task that you have to like run to catch up to the thing that you set for yourself.
Right.
You trying yourself, not you trying to accommodate a different person. You you have created a void in yourself with your
Right.
person. Now you've got to fight to fill it. You've got to do research. You've got to watch other
Yeah.
movies.
Yes.
That is good writing. I don't care what comes out at the end of it. You're
I
all gonna love it.
I absolutely agree with you because you start
Yeah.
questioning, you might even start questioning the initial idea that you had about this whole storyline and how you're gonna approach it.
That was legit. I need to save this moment because that was a good one. That was what you just said there was actually that needs some inspirational music. By the way,
Right.
we
But
are only
I
halfway.
mean, look, if we really struggle to finish this movie, we'll do a two-parter. But once again, the importance of DC storytelling is that you can take such a small scene as this. This scene doesn't even take more than a minute, but the depth of the story of this moment is crucial.
It's what I told you before when we did our first writer interview about how sometimes another story will ask a question that the writer never answers, and I will be inspired sometimes to be like, I wonder how you can answer that question. Comes the challenge,
Right.
and then it's my mission to fulfill it.
Right.
The
Right.
bull inside like a void, and I'm just like, fulfill it. And that's what writing can be at its best. I think that's why Tarantino is like always like if you love filmmaking, you can never make a bad movie. I think that's what he meant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%. 100. And I think Cameron was it? No, was it Cameron? I think Cameron was talking to Leo because when Leo was coming in for Titanic, um, Cameron was shocked that even like the accountant and like everybody wanted to meet Leo. You know what I mean? This was during I think the auditioning process or something, and Cameron is like, "What the hell? What's the accountant doing here?" You know. But he said, I think he said something like he wanted Leo to read the lines for the scene, right, for the audition. And Leo was not interested in that. And Cameron said something very interesting. He said, you need to understand that when you're done filming this, I'm going to spend like another 3 years or so on this project while you are already doing another project elsewhere. You know, so going back to what Tarantino said, like you cannot make a terrible movie is Peter Jackson, for instance. I think he spent 8 years doing The Lord of the Rings, writing it, research, and all of that. You need to understand, like, and this is, it's, you know, when we were having our discussions about the stories, the story that I'm writing is, you need to have so much respect for your characters and your story that by the time it comes out, you have no regrets because everything that you did has been researched upon researched and analyzed and to the point where when people watch it, they admire all the nuances that are not even said, you know. Like this small scene, the fact that we're going in such detail for this small scene, you can tell that
under the 10.
there was so much that was placed into this moment. I mean, they could have done this movie from any time, you know, they could have done it like in the 2000s. It could have been based in the 2000s or the 90s. But the fact that it's done in around the era of Vietnam in that at that moment changes everything.
Yeah, it really does. It has a huge impact.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. Let's cross the 10-minute mark. Sure, I'm go.